Let's start with our topic for today, identity theft defense. So, identity theft defense isn't just about stolen credit cards anymore, although credit card crime is the number one crime. We're going to talk about this during the session. Um, Identity theft defense is about protecting every part of who you are, including your digital footprint, your personal data, and your financial identity. We are going to break down how identity theft happens, most common scams from 2024, and how you can build strong, simple defenses. It doesn't take an arm and a leg to do some basic preventative measures that we're going to share today. And that's the goal, is to make it easy. Excuse me. Uh, Before we dive in, I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Will Van Wig. I work as the senior marketing representative for CAFCU. I've had several positions with CAFCU over almost 10 years now, but for most of that time, regardless, I have been leading financial wellness workshops just like this. I have done hundreds of sessions with thousands of attendees, as I like to say. And as a certified credit union financial counselor myself, my goal is to help individuals and families find simple credit union-based solutions to everyday financial struggles. Credit unions are not-for-profit versions of banks. It's all the same services, usually just with better rates, lower fees, if any fees. And so there's a lot of really great tools, that mindset we apply to all of our products and services. And so we're going to talk about some of them today as we cover ways we can protect our identity. And so here's the specific agenda. We're going to define it. We're going to review those crimes, talk about methods. I'm going to share some closing thoughts. We're going to talk about other offers and promotions we have going on right now with CAFCU, and then we'll have that Q&A at the end, like I said. So let's start by defining it. So, identity theft, we are specifically talking about the act of stealing personal financial identifying information. This is really just collecting the sensitive data. I bring this distinction up because this is that first step. This is that first encounter you're going to come across. And this could be someone stealing your information out of the mail or gathering your information through a phishing attempt through your email. This could be a social where they are in person working you, trying to get information from you to steal your information. It's really just taking that stuff. Taking that information is what we're looking at here as the crime or as the first thing. And then the fraud is when it's the act of using the stolen information. So this could be opening those new credit card accounts, making those unauthorized purchases, filing fake tax returns. Um, this is the step where we're actually committing the crime using the money. So why the distinction? So really, truly, when we talk about identity theft, these terms, identity theft, identity fraud, used very interchangeably. When you talk about it, either one works. They describe different parts of the same problem. I define these because it's important for looking at the next steps after these take place. So when identity theft happens and your personal information is stolen, the focus then is on prevention. So stopping those crimes from occurring with that stolen information. So that's some of what we're going to talk about today with these defense. When identity fraud happens, this is when that stolen information is used for the crime, and so the focus shifts from prevention to reporting and recovery. So you're going to be working with financial institutions, credit bureaus, law enforcement to fix what happened, whether it's ordering new cards, blocking accounts, filing the report with the police so you can use it when disputing things on your credit report. It's really knowing that difference for what's going to help you take the right action at the right time and stopping things from getting even worse. Because this stuff is prevalent. We are looking at these top identity theft crimes reported. So credit card crime was the number one at 449,000 complaints. This has held the top spot for several years, and that's because it is fast, profitable, and relatively easy to commit, which makes it a favorite for fraudsters. There are different methods and ways for committing this credit card crime, and it's just so prevalent because of that access. And this is interesting, though, because the second rising crime reported for other identity theft, this grew by 38% from last year. And so this is the largest increase across these categories. These are complaints or crimes reported to the FTC as they're filing all of this. And so with other identity theft, as it says on here, this is online account takeovers, this is subscription or streaming service fraud, cell phone utility account fraud, or synthetic identities, where synthetic identities are where they take parts of your personal information and use fake information to create this fake identity based off some real things that make it harder to catch. And so, this shift shows that identity theft is spreading into new parts of our daily life. And it's not just about bank accounts and money. It's really looking at all of these services that have value out there. Uh, it really just reminds us protecting our information means taking a wider view of digital security. So it's not just looking at, well, where's my banking information? You are looking at all your credentials across the board as these things are then used to gain access and commit these frauds with other areas. Uh, for committing these frauds, the method for how these were committed. So the top one by a lot remains imposter scams. All of these are kind of imposter scams, am I right? If we're stealing identities. But uh, these start with someone pretending to be your credit union, a retailer, government agency. Hey, we just got a notice about your account. Could you give me this information? I'm going to get in and verify to let you know what's going on. And then you say, great, here's my account number. And now they have this to start making this information. Imposter. Or online shopping scams. These are also one of the larger rises. So these can appear as fake websites, counterfeit product listings, or fraudulent sellers who just take the payment and disappear. Uh, with how prevalent online shopping is versus going in person to retail, there's so much that we are exposed to, it can be hard to tell what's real, or even where some sites start real and then there might be an interceptive spot along the way. Wherever it goes, this is why, again, we want to be very careful of these things as we're taking awareness. Um, these are interesting as well. Business or job opportunities. This is at 127. So there's less of these over the other two methods, but this is one that I think is highly prevalent today because in today's economy where so many people are applying for jobs and looking for new work, there are a lot of scams out there saying, oh, there's a personal assistant scam. We wrote a blog about this last year, I believe, where it was talking about they'll say, hey, we just hired you for this job. We're going to send you a check to buy equipment with. Something's going to happen with that check. They're going to gain your information, and then they are going to potentially take money from that account now that they have access due to this crime they committed. Again, you'll find this in our blogs. Lots of great information in those blogs, people. But job opportunities, this is prevalent and investment related. So this is fake investments. And it's fascinating because what they found was that even though this is a smaller amount reported, this was a larger amount lost overall for total financial loss. And so even though it's not as prevalent, for the quantity, it can be especially painful for those. And I think related to this too, I found it interesting. They said that younger people are victims more frequently, but it's smaller amounts. Whereas when elderly are targeted, it is a larger loss overall, but there's less crime occurring with those. And so I think that's fascinating. Give me 1 second. I see. I'm just reading these chats real fast. I saw there was a bunch of stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we will get that information out there. Thank you, Becky. Again, Becky doing a great job in the chat. If you have stuff, reach out to her. So continuing this trend, looking at these top crimes that are occurring so we know what to look at for how to protect ourselves. These are the communication methods. And so this was interesting too as we looked at total loss for email, phone call, text, social media, for how these fraudsters are reaching out to steal this. It's fascinating because no matter whether this fraud begins with email, text, social media, online shopping sites, it is most often reaching us through our smartphones. We use these devices so casually every day, and that it's easy to forget they are also a primary gateway to our personal information. And so, because our phones connect to email, banking apps, shopping accounts, protecting this device matters as much as protecting passwords. So, simple actions using a strong lock screen, avoiding public Wi Fi for sensitive tasks, verifying links before tapping, keeping apps and operating systems updated. They go a long way towards reducing this risk. If you ever get texts from people who you think it might be a company saying, like Amazon saying, oh, this was returned, this was reported, it's always recommended to separately, even if you receive a call from somebody saying they're a company, One method is to say, hey, I'm going to thank you for this call. I'm going to call back. And you call the number on their website associated or through Google. Because then again, if you're reaching the right people, that stuff will be there. And if it's not, that's one way to verify and know. Really just keep your senses. If something seems off, double check it. It is scary with AI technology how much can be created and mimicked to look like real things that we deal with, engage with when managing our finances. And so this can be very dangerous. And so we just need to keep an eye on that smartphone. And even though we're keeping an eye on that smartphone, one easy thing that we're going to talk about real quick, again, as we talk about credit card fraud being the number one type of fraud, we're going to start talking about some of these defense methods. And this is an easy defense method, shred. So fraudsters can steal mail to open credit cards or accounts. Many have probably received those pre-approved offers. And so what happens is when they get this information, with just a few pieces of information, they can then apply online and have an account approved before you even realize it. They may use this mail and then change an address so you never receive the things until this information is on your credit. And so that's where taking that second, looking at the mail you have, it's really, you want to protect anything like your social security number, date of birth, account numbers, financial statements you no longer need, credit card bills, utility statements, pay stubs, medical forms, also good candidates for shredding. Anything that's going to have that personal identifying information. Even if you think about statements, sometimes when a financial institution calls, they say, hey, what was your last purchase made with the card? And so that would be information that they would be able to verify through a stolen statement. And so that's where a shredder can be a great thing. Now, you do want to keep key records like tax returns secure for several years. Um, this could be loan agreements. You're going to know your important documents, and we have information out there on this as well. But without getting into the nitty-gritty of this, you can talk to Becky during a Money Compass session about this if you'd like. You really just want to focus on shredding this everyday offer, these things that have all this information because it's so out there. Shredders you can buy very cheap from many different sites. It is not a huge investment. There are also free community shred days that take place. If you look through local villages, different offices like real estate offices may also support shred days where you can drop everything off to be shredded. These can be a great option. And as a bonus tip, yes, e-statements for safer digital access. That way you're accessing the e-statement directly through the account itself. Like with CAFCU, you get a notice saying the e-statement is there. It is in your mobile app, so you can click through to receive that. And then if you need to use that document for a loan process, some sort of verification, whatever it may be, you then have an easy way to download that file versus needing to scan it and send it that way. So shredding can be great. Uh, Additionally, we can look at doing a credit freeze. And so this is going to block new credit accounts from being opened in your name. This is a free service through Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. I believe starting back in 2018, they needed to start providing this. Not only is it such a great thing to do, but it is quick to lift. I saw one thing saying that it can happen within an hour of posting this. This is available through their websites. And so with credit, we oftentimes talk about being very specific and intentional with how we use credit. Credit cards are a tool for building credit and growing our financial opportunities. And so this is a really freezing your credit, since we are trying to use it so specifically, freezing is a great set it and forget it step. So once it's in place, it locks down one of the easiest pathways identity thieves try to use. So even if they gain your information from the mail, guess what? It's already been frozen. And similarly, you can do this with your credit cards and with your debit cards, and you can turn them off. With CAFCU, we have a card management, again, through our app, where you can directly turn that off. Also, quick plug through there, you can also quickly view your rewards points, view transactions, see what's going down. I am a big fan of our card management system, but yes, blocking these things. Now, since you use cards more frequently, that may not be as convenient, but it is still available. If you do have credit cards that you are not using frequently, putting that block on it until you need it. If you do have one that's only used for emergencies or only used for specific type of purchases, that might be a great option just as another form of protection. And then with defense number 3, we're going to talk about NFC chip readers. These are, again, simple things that we can do And the reason that these exist, the reason we are holding these things up and trying to find it on the fob at the store is because with traditional credit cards, those magnetic stripes on the back stored our personal information. That is how they were able to approve that transaction. We swipe, it says, my name is this, my account information is this, here's the pertaining details. And so then with card skimmers, that information is stored and kept. And what's nice about these chip readers or NFC with that near field communication is that when we hold the phone up or the card up or we slip that chip in, what is going on is that it is generating a one-time code, a token that is connected to our card and connected to our account. And so the store approves that purchase through that token code associated with the account through the institution. And so that way, the store or this machine isn't storing your personal information. It just has this one-time code that is protected behind your financial institution like CAFCU. And so that's why these work so great, is because new information every time that card is then used. And so it's not sharing that personal information across. And so with this too, a bonus tip is using digital wallets. So this is using Google Pay, Samsung Pay, Apple Pay. There's so many different wallets and fintech services out there. We do have this available through CAFCU for setting all that up. But so using digital wallets to create those token codes, especially if you don't want to carry your card on you, is another way of, protecting this information from being stolen. Additionally, using a digital ID. I bring this up because this is also a one-time thing, but instead of a one-time code, if you were to call into the credit union, or if someone were the credit union to call you to work on something with your account, you could say, hey, I want to verify that I'm actually working with the credit union. Instead of calling into the member center, which you are welcome to do, to say, hey, I'm trying to reach so-and-so to handle this issue, you can ask for a digital ID verification. This is something that you would have turned on beforehand with notifications and just as to turn it on in general for a service within the app. And then when you are working with the person on the phone, they'll say, hey, I want to verify this. And let's say I'm working with Aaron out of operations. Aaron, great guy, shout out if he's listening in some way. And so I say, hey, I'm working with Aaron. I would then get a notification through my CAFCU app to my phone to say, Aaron is trying to request access. And so we're not asking for codes, we're not asking for passwords. You're going to see a direct, secure notification that we are trying to gain access and who is trying to gain access that you would need to approve before we can do that. And you can then see this history of how your access is gained through these digital IDs as well. Great layer for security, something you can set up in the app as a bonus tip. Um, Something else I would mention is other quick defense methods would be removing your name from the wanted or solicited lists. We That can be a great method for just reducing those chances. It's not a permanent thing typically. Sometimes it can cost money, but those are methods you can take to reduce that risk, is just stop receiving all the spam notifications and offers in general. Um, Additionally, oh, I had one other, but now I'm blanking on it. I'm gonna move on, and if I come back to it, I'll remember. So we're gonna keep going for some closing thoughts. Uh, Really, we just want to stay aware of where and how the information is shared. We have so much information out there. We talk about using passwords and all the same sites and how dangerous that can be. What is a strong password for length? What is all of that? And so it's mainly just trying to stay aware and create these small, consistent habits, knowing that we need these strong passwords, knowing that we have this information we're trying to protect. How can we make this simple? I receive mail, it has personal information, I have a shredder, and it goes. And you can build a habit around that. If we are trying to protect our online accounts from being taken over, here's another habit. This is also great for just curbing spending habits, but you can remove your card information from online shopping sites. This is going to make it harder when you do want to spend money, and also it makes it so your information isn't in there if your account were to be taken over. So this is a way we can look at small, consistent ways to create that stronger protection and really layer it in, because this prevention today can save so much stress and time later. There's so much going on in the world. I don't believe you want to add calling the police, reporting these things, going through the steps of staying vigilant, getting new information. If I can save you from that, that would be fantastic. And so employing some of these simple steps and really just reviewing these defenses and adjusting as technology evolves. Again, with the rise of AI, who knows how This is going to evolve. I was told once that if somebody really wants your information, they can create this strong brute case to steal it. And so that's where you want to just do as much as you can to make it as hard as possible for others. And you want to do it in a way that's manageable and easy to engage with, as we talk about with all of our finances. It's really just taking those measures is going to save you that time, stress, and money in the future. Uh, Keeping an eye on your accounts, reviewing these defenses once in a while, and just staying informed. It's really just that awareness and action in work together to keep your identity safe. It's not just knowing the stuff, it's how we implement it. And that is really what we're trying to do here at CAFCU. I've got a few more minutes with the session, and then we'll have that Q&A at the end. Again, if you need to leave, please let me know with that survey. But really, here at CAFCU, Corporate America Family Credit Union, we are empowering this financial success. We serve as this banking alternative. We are member owned. So we are owned by the people who bank with us. We are not for profit. The money that goes into the credit union goes right back out of the credit union. And we do this in lower rates for lending. We do this in better rates for savings. I'm going to talk about some options with those right now. And we talk about doing this consistently, that we are known for this, that the money that is put into the credit union is just used to maintain operational efficiency and keep supporting the members that put that money in. And so that's what we're trying to do. And then we do this as well through this education because, again, it's not just having the accounts, it's how we use these accounts specifically. So we believe in empowering financial success through this financial education and these straightforward tools, like, for example, our savings account. It's a $5 minimum balance, and that's it. That's all we got going on. There's no monthly fee, sign-on associated fee. It's just to hold these accounts open, and that's all you got going on to start saving and building that emergency savings. Or with our traditional checking account, it's free. There's no minimum balance. It's a free checking account that you can use as a money hub with your debit card. We can get into all those during Money Compass sessions. Let's talk about some of these offers, how we are empowering this financial success because we can provide all these things, but it's how it works with your life specifically and how it's used. And so, we do have a new member discount. If you are not a member with us currently, if you join within the first 60 days, you can take 0.25% off the qualifying APR, annual percentage rate on all the vehicle loans, signature loans, fixed rate home equity loans. This can't be combined with other vehicle promotions, but within those first 60 days, as you're looking at what goals you have and what you're trying to accomplish, this is a great way to just take an additional little percent off of already low rates. We also have with these discounts as well. Also, if you do work for one of our partner companies, check what you have through there. There might be other rates available, and those can be great. So again, you want to look at all your options. I believe financial success is having options, and through the credit union, you do. Like if you're trying to grow your savings in a secure method, we have new share certificate offers. We have a 60-month and 18-month with these rates at 4% and 3.75. And what it takes is $500 of new money. So if you transfer $500 in, you can secure these rates for this time, and it will hold this rate for this period of time, making it great for sustainable growth and those secure earnings. If you are in the market for a car, we do have a auto promotion going on right now where we are taking 50% off of whatever you are approved for with the APR. Additionally, we are offering no payments for 90 days. And so this can be great if you are in the market for a new car, if you are trying to refinance and save on your current car. Great time to do this. I believe this runs through the end of the month, but you want to do this as soon as possible, just to start saving and get that process started. And so, falling rate, rising savings on the next vehicle currently occurring. Also with holiday shopping, as we are shopping for all these upcoming holidays, you can earn 5 times the points on our rewards credit cards. And this is just any of our Visa secure credit card, the traditional, and I'd have to check on these names. You can earn these rewards through all of them. And right now we have 5x rewards on holiday shopping. Check out the link for more details. But we talk about with holiday shopping or using credit cards in general, with our specialty share accounts, these work as just an additional savings or a separate savings for our short-term goals. These are great for holiday clubs where you save for the holidays all year long because you know it's going to be an expenditure at the end of the year, and you can do this through bi-weekly automated savings on your paycheck days. through payment allocation. Great way to do this. What I say though is when you are doing that, yes, you may have that money saved right there. It is okay to still use your credit card to make all those purchases, earn those points, and then you can use those funds to then pay off that credit card since you already have that secured. Great way to manage that if you're still trying to earn and you have those funds set up to the side. So definitely recommend that. I can see the chat's been blown up in here. Hopefully, Becky was great. As it says in this review for Money Compass, these are free, unlimited, secure. These are 15-minute phone calls or video chats to talk about your financial questions. When I've done these in the past with people, we have built budgets together. We have compared our rates versus other rates. We have talked about how to manage people's debts. We have talked about how to reach current goals. And it's really just your time to talk finances. We have a great team for this, cafcu.org/coaching, financial coaching, money compass. I'm sure that Becky's going to put that link in the chat, Becky. But it's very personal. It's really to you. And it's just having the conversation does so much good as it is. And so I am going to answer some questions now if we have some in the Q&A. Thank you so much for sticking around and taking the time today. Hopefully this was helpful and you received a lot of great stuff. Yes, I can go back to this auto loan. Yes, bear with me as I look through this real fast. How do you put your name on the list? Okay, so oh my gosh, Becky even pulled up our recent blog. Um, and I will share these details as well, for sure. Yes, that one's protecting yourself. We also have Fraud Watch, CAFCU.org/fraud watch or CAFCU.org/financial wellness. You'll see this available on there, and we talk about other ways to prevent fraud from taking place. That can be a great place for just some quick article click-ons. And with the protect yourself, I know if you go to, I'd have to check on the website. I can provide this link as well for getting your name on the don't solicit list. You can find it through government sites for sure. They share that link on those trusted websites, so you know which one, and I will find that and share it. But if you are Googling how to remove your name, it should be through sites like the FTC. Department of, or there's other services for this, yes. So, other questions about identity theft, anything going on with identity theft defense? I'm going to stick around for a few minutes. Otherwise, thank you so much for taking the time today. I can stay here. I can go back to the Q&A. I can cycle through these promotions as you'd like. Um, do-not-call.gov. As I mentioned, with these sites, this can be temporary and there can be multiple levels of this. So one is just getting your stuff removed from like texts or scams or text message communications. Another could be phone calls. Another could be these credit card offers. There are different registries out there. Yeah, consumer.ftc.gov. And so you can look at this. Sometimes it is for a certain period of time. Sometimes it is something you can pay for an extended service. Whatever it looks like, there are many things that you can do through this. I should really set this up when I do all these research for these. I end up getting so many spam calls and mailing offers as I find all the different details and they start tracking my cookies. It's fascinating for how prevalent identity theft can be and just how much access exists out there that we may not be aware of. And so that's why, again, it's so important to look at all of this. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time today. It is always so wonderful to speak with you about this. Next month, I believe I'm joined by Becky herself for the webinar talking about holiday shopping. So it's always on the third Thursday. This link will go out. And thank you everyone for being here. You can also find it through cafcu.org/webinars. And I appreciate everyone's time and I wish you all the best with your identity protection in the holiday season. And I look forward to speaking with you all again. Thank you, everybody.